Hi, I'm Steph from Stitching with Steph, and welcome to my channel. If you're a subscriber, thank you for returning for this week's stitch with me. I really appreciate your support and coming back and grabbing your project and stitching along. If you're not a subscriber and you like this type of content, go ahead and feel free to click that subscribe button. It helps me out to get my videos to the recommendation page for cross-stitching and for you. If you have any comments or questions for me, go ahead and slide those into the comment section, and I'll be sure to get back with you in a reasonable time. This week, we're going to be focusing on week 3 for a Korean folklore dancer. As you can see, she's a beautiful, colorful, traditional Korean folklore dancer, and I'm really excited to stitch this project. I didn't get much done this past week, but let's go ahead and try to knock some of this out this week. Let's go ahead and get this canvas prepped for stitching with me. All right, friends, we have everything all prepped. I went ahead and threaded my needle. We're going to continue on from last week, which is that number 2, the green thin lines, DMC 208. Again, it is this beautiful purple color. Like I said in my last week's video, I knew I wasn't going to get a lot done on any of my projects just because between work and school and all that fun stuff, I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of time to stitch. So she didn't have anything done. So I just kind of picked up where I know I left off, which is in this segment here. So I just threaded a whole new thread and we'll get to going from there. Let's see if this one stays. Yep. All right. What'd you guys do this past week since our last time stitching her? Anyone do anything fun? I didn't. Just typical chores, grocery shopping, homework, a lot of hours at work, stuff like that, you know, adulting. Nothing too fun, I would have to say. Right now I'm working on more laundry. I feel like every time I'm stitching with you guys, that's what I'm doing. In the background, it's always laundry. It's never ending on my days off. I do all the laundry, and if I can't get to it being put away for the household, my husband helps. But my kids are pretty good about putting away their own laundry. It's part of their like daily chores that I have them do. What is that one? All right, let me see. Yep, a green one. Okay. It looks like this bottom one here was just a little bit covered up, so I just might have been from a till that was started, if you can see right here. See it? Yep. Okay. There we go. Now that section's complete. Has anyone started cross-stitching since they came across my channel? I had a friend that she saw that I started a channel, and she goes, "Oh, that looks fun. Like, where do you get your kit?" So I told her like Amazon or any like website overseas, really. So I gave her a couple of links, and She's a crafty person naturally, so I wouldn't be surprised if she takes to this. She likes stuff like this. I'm surprised that she didn't do it before, to be honest. She just seems like that person that would have done something like this. Do you guys have stitchy friends? I had a coworker who saw me working on it last week, and she goes, "Oh my God, cross stitching?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "You should come to our group me and my friends have." And I was like, "What group?" So it's the word that rhymes with stitch, but it begins with the B, if you know what I'm saying. And I just started laughing because I was just like, first of all, how did you guys come up with it? And like, do we just go and stitch and vent? Is that like what we do? And she started laughing. Like, I guess it's all types of stitching. So, some people will do embroidery, some will do quilting. Like, it's literally the rhyming word of stitching, but with a B. And then so it's that word in stitch, if that makes sense to anybody. I can't say it because, well, YouTube will censor me. But I was cracking up because I was just like, that is such a creatively cute name. Like, who would have thought about that? And I told her, well, yeah, if you just tell me when the next one is, like, I'll try to make it. I was like, I just need to know enough in advance because, like, my work schedule and school schedule and stuff, I could try to schedule around it to go. But I thought it was so funny. She was so excited that I cross stitch. And she was like, "You should come to me and my friend's group. It's called the and Stitch." I was like, how can a girl say no to that? That's so funny, right? Where you just have a group of women all hanging out, venting about God knows what, and we're all just stitching our little stitchy projects, right? Like, I thought it was cute. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely game for that. Like, I would totally do that. One thing I've noticed is we have a decent sized community as stitchers. I just feel like I don't find many here where I live because we are in a state that's like very outdoorsy, so people prefer to do those kind of activities. But I've also learned a lot of my coworkers are crafters, which is absolutely hilarious. So most of the time I'm bonding like with my coworkers over this stuff, and like I have another friend at work. He does I think it's crocheting. I don't know. He was doing these things called granny squares. And I was like, why are they called granny squares? He's like, because I could mindlessly like knit them or crochet them or whatever he said. He goes, and then I like put them together to make like blankets and stuff. He's like, so I just do one square at a time because it's easier than trying to do a whole big old project. And I just thought it was so funny that they're called granny squares because I was just like, this isn't necessarily excuse me, sorry guys. This isn't necessarily a hobby for like older people anymore. Like when we were younger, we thought that this was like older people stuff to do, but it's actually very relaxing and it's nice to not have like the TV on and you can sit in the quiet, kind of like the same thing with reading, right? Like reading's good for you. So people should be doing that more often instead of video games or TV or whatever the case may be. I just feel like we've lost touch with ourselves as a society and we depend too much on electronics, which is ironic as I'm sitting here video recording for you ladies and gentlemen. But you're not necessarily sitting here just watching, you're probably just listening to me and conversing and stitching with the screen. I just feel like some people just aren't productive and they mindlessly watch television. Look guys, true stitching with Steph fashion. We have another knot. And I don't even understand how this one happened. I feel like I never understand when they happen, to be honest with you. I'm just like, I'm going along, like prancing through a field of daisies, and then boom, a knot happens. Again, I feel like they happen when I'm going too fast, so maybe it's my cue to slow down. I'm going to try to get this section here done with this stitch with me. If not, I'm sorry, friends. We'll knock this project out a little bit at a time. What are you guys stitching right now? Leave it in the comments. What are you working on? I like seeing and hearing what people are doing. I know I got some followers from TikTok. Thank you for coming over. I hope you enjoy my channel and the things that I review and stitch. And I know I interacted with a couple of you from over there as well. So let's see. Oh, it looks, see right here, it looks like this stitch came undone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that one out and probably redo it. So sometimes when I'm stitching and I'm too rough with my canvases, that can happen. Or I didn't thread it well enough when I ended it, and I'm probably assuming that's what happened with this one right here. Bear with me while I try to get that fixed. 1 second, guys. All right, friends, I'm back. I had to unstitch it. For some reason, if you look here on the, I don't really have anything around it where I could have tucked my tail really well. So that's what happened here. I'll probably just redo these two. I must have traveled it, but it's okay. No worries. Nothing I can't fix for us later. So I'm just going to see where I left off, which is right here. Okay. So, and that's okay. Just as long as you fix them, you just don't leave them, you'll be okay. That's why I said sometimes if you're in a rush, which I might have been with those colors, with that particular color, you just might not, I might not have tucked my tail as well as I wanted, and it looks like it came undone. So no biggie, nothing I can't fix, nothing I can't fix or restitch. Okay, let's see right here. One more over. There we go. See how it can get knotted at the very end of that thread? Oh, I can feel it on the back. Yep. Like I said, I always keep my finger back here so I can feel what it's doing. So, see, there you go. I didn't snag. This is why I like doing across the top like this, so I can see what it's doing. See, there you go. There we go. So this week, I don't know what order I'll be posting it in, probably later. I'll be starting a counted cross stitch with you guys. And that's going to be one weekly video dedicated towards just that one project of counted cross stitch. And in that video, I'll go over and I'll kind of show you guys how I set up my pattern and how we're going to start. Because I know some people still really like those paper patterns. I convert mine to a digital digital. Like I just take a picture, I scan it, and then I put it into my iPad, and I'll kind of show you guys what I do and what app I use. Because I know for the longest time, Pattern Keeper was like a thing among stitchers, but I use an app called Good Notes, and then I have like a little notebook because I use that for school too, as well as my household. Honestly, I use Good Notes for everything. um, so I just create a whole notebook for each pattern, so that way I have it available. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, because I have all this up here still I gotta stitch, I'm gonna do one more full stitch here. And then half stitches all the way down, just so I can knock all these out and then come back up and finish that section up there. I like talking through it with you guys because sometimes I know you probably look at it and you're like, well, where should I go from here? Or kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing versus just seeing it. If you're stitching with me, chances are you're not looking at the monitor, so, or your screen or whatever the case may be. And talking you through what I'm doing seems to be helpful, I've noticed. So again, we're just doing these half stitches all the way up, all the way down. This one I'm going to do a full stitch because I don't want to come back into this one random square. There we go. I do film a lot when my kids are at school, just so that's a little bit quieter in the house. I mean, I haven't seen any noise pick up in the background, but my youngest, even when I'm filming, will still come in and just want to chit chat or make him some snacks or just hang out with mom. So I pause my videos more often when they're home, just because my little one likes to come in and hang out sometimes with me while I'm doing stuff. There we go. And I kind of give you guys a heads up. There was one video, I think it was last week, I don't remember, where I had to keep pausing because he kind of had a rough day at school and he just needed some mama hugs and someone to talk to. So I stopped my video for a while and just hung out with him and talked to him. And then when he was ready and he felt better, then he went on his little way and I came back to my recording. That's one thing I like about this is like, I don't have to do it all in one sitting, especially being super busy. Like I can kind of just leave my project for a minute, pause my recording, and then come back and pick back up where I left off. I know there was some videos, I think when I very, very first started, like I had to go to my daughter's like graduation meeting and that took way longer than I anticipated. I'm like, oh, we're going to be here for an hour. No, it was like several hours. It was just, again, one of the luxuries of recording is you can kind of stop and then pick back up where you left off, right? Does anybody else have a YouTube channel? Link it down below and I'll give you a follow back. I'll check you out to see what your channel's about. I like following new people. And honestly, your genre can be anything. I follow lots of different stuff. This is just my hobby that I record, but I follow lots of different things. Like I said, I have history channels, I have tutorials, I have K-pop videos, I have videos for playlists, honestly, I have a lot of stuff on my on my channel that I follow, so that's my personal channel. This one is just strictly my crafting, but I'll give you a follow back on this channel if you're following me, just so I can check you out. I like giving support where I can, and it's something that's relatively easy that I can give you guys support on. This little bugger keeps wanting to just... I might have to untwist my thread. This happens too, is if you've been stitching too long and then your thread gets twisted. So what I do is, like, I'll just kind of do this number and then let my needle dangle. Kind of untwines itself, if you can see. There you go. All right, I'm going to grab a drink real fast, guys. I'm going to pause you. All right, friends, impeccable timing. As soon as I went to go get a drink of my water, my dryer went off saying that a load was finished, so I just moved that over to the dryer right quick. So as soon as we're done with this little section here, I think we may just call this week's Stitch With Me finished. We got quite a bit done. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. If I can get my needle in. I'm going to finish this. And I'm probably going to pin stitch those two. This is one of those ones that I have to fix. I'm just going to fix all 4 of those. Okay. I feel like I need to sneeze. But nothing's coming out. Looks like when I pulled that one through, it messed up my stitch here. Yeah, it's not loose in the back, huh? I'm gonna have to take it. Those blues are looking a little suspicious to me. I just redo that one. It's this color for some reason. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to double check the back when I have a chance. Or I could just check it as soon as I'm done threading back here. Where is it? Right here? So 1, 2, 1. No? Huh. So it'd be 1, 2, and that should be right there, but doesn't look like anything's loose, so I'm not sure. It might have been when I pulled that purple through. So there's this part. we go. Guys, I'm literally struggling with this last bit of this stitching. I'm going to re-wax this thread because it feels like it's catching because it's a little dry per se. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit today. That's okay. Everyone has those days, I feel like. Okay, where were we here? Okay, there's that. Looks like I got a couple right there, and I'll do those ones as well. Hopefully we'll have enough time. Got to pay attention to the clock right now because it's almost time to go get two of my kids. They both get out close to the same time, like 15 minutes of each other. So I go from one school to the next. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's so hard sometimes getting that needle right in the middle on the first try. And like I said, I'm pretty rough, as you could probably tell, as I shove my blunt needle into my canvas. And see, sometimes it doesn't even work. I know I could use like a more pointed needle, but I'd rather break a needle than to stab myself repeatedly with a sharp needle, because that's no fun. There we go, that one took. I just don't like stabbing myself repeatedly, to be honest. Again, I have a pretty gnarly callus on my finger, if you can't tell right there. And that's from blunt needles. Could you imagine if I had sharp needles? Oy, oy, oy. Probably would have scabs there then, versus just pokes from the blunt needle. Okay. And then got two more. If you hear my phone go off in a few minutes, it's reminding me to get ready to walk out the door. I think we may be able to finish this. Hold on, let me see. Wrong ones. Those are the fat ones. These are the skinny ones. I might be able to finish this and end this video. I only have two, so. Nothing like trying to work against the clock for 2 whole stitches, right? All right, friends, that concludes this week's Stitch with Me for the Korean dancer, folklore dancer, week 3. If you are a subscriber and you stuck around this long, thank you so very much for sticking with me and working on my project while you worked on yours. If you're not a subscriber and you like the content that I provide and you like stitching with me, go ahead and click that subscribe button, that bell notification, so you can go ahead and get any type of notification anytime I post new content. I also have 2 other social media accounts. I have Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow me over there. I do little snippets or updates and reminders of when I'm posting new videos and new projects that I'm doing. My handler for both of those is stitching_with_Steph. And in my credits at the end, I do have a QR code for my TikTok. Again, thank you everybody for hanging around with me and doing a stitch with me this week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week in week 4 of my Korean folklore dancer. I hope everybody has a good day. Bye-bye.